Hi, everybody. My name is Kendra Atkinson, and I am going to be presenting Miss Florence. I'll talk about her background, how our first meeting went, what we planned together, and the progress that she has made during our time. Then, I will talk about what our case closure will look like. During our journey, I have used trauma-informed and strength-based approaches to support her on her healing and growth. Miss Florence entered the system after her daughter Crystal was taken due to physical abuse. When I first met with Miss Florence, I learned that she was raised in a very strict home with 9 siblings. Her parents used physical punishment and did not show a lot of affection. She had to learn to grow up quick, especially when her mother became sick. That's all she knew. So when she became a mom, she parented in that exact same way. When I first spoken with her, she was still grieving the loss of her long-term partner, Mr. Dave. She seemed very sad, barely looked up, and she was unsure what was going to happen next. Miss Lawrence does not have a job, she lives on welfare, and has no close family around. Mr. Dave was her only support system. Even with all of that, Miss Florence stated that she was ready to change. She told me, I just didn't know there was another way to be a mom. That made me believe that she was ready to learn and grow. Miss Florence was clearly dealing with depression and grief. She reported that she cried a lot, did not sleep well, felt really down on herself. She wasn't a danger to herself or others, but she did admit to feeling ashamed and hopeless. Miss Florence does not use drugs, has no criminal history, and physical health was seemed to be okay. But emotionally, you could tell she was really struggling. She told me that she left school before finishing 8th grade and she doesn't know how to use a computer or read well. This made her feel embarrassed and affects her chances of getting a job. Because of her trauma and background, I made sure to use a trauma-informed approach. I listened without judgment, focused on building trust, and worked to make her feel safe and understood. Together, we plan to focus on her mental health, parenting, education, and most importantly, how to get Miss Crystal back. Since her case needed a lot of support and she was under intensive case management, Miss Florence will attend therapy weekly at the Bluebonnet Trails. She's learning new skills at parenting cottages, things like how to stay calm, use time in instead of yelling and spanking her child. She's working on getting her GED through the literacy collision. She's working with Goodwill to learn new job skills and get ready to work. She's also goes to a grief group through the Hospice Austin. She gets a Metro Access voucher to help get her to and from all appointments. Monthly, we send CPS her progress report. Miss Florence has really grown, especially in her parenting. She told me, I didn't know you could raise a child without hitting them, but now I'm learning there's other ways. Miss Florence is showing that she's just not only attending the classes, but she's using what she has learned. Her therapist stated that she calms herself down now before she reacts, and she's trying to understand her child's feelings before responding. She is also more organized. I see Miss Florence has used a planner to keep track of her appointments, and she has even rescheduled a class instead of missing it, which shows she is becoming more responsible and confident. This type of change is possible because she felt safe, supported, and like somebody finally believed in her. Miss Florence recently told me that she doesn't feel like a bad mom anymore. She said, I feel like I'm starting over, and this time I'm not alone. And to continue to help her feel strong on this path that she's on, we do weekly check-ins for therapy, parenting, and education. Bi-weekly phone calls just to check in on her emotional needs. Monthly updates to CPS about reuniting with Crystal. And we're tracking her rides, finances, and mental health constantly. Now, Miss Florence still has a lot of work to do, but she's also on the right path. Before her case closes, she needs to meet some of her goals, keeps up with the parenting changes, gets reunited with her daughter, and we'll make plans to help her stay on track. We'll connect her with the long-term help, like counseling groups, and We'll have one last meeting to celebrate all of her progress and reflect on how far she will come. Miss Florence won't just leave with a certification, she'll leave with confidence, healing, and a whole new way how to be a mother. Reading Miss Florence's story, it showed me how trauma-informed care and support can change lives. Thank you guys.